Hello. Welcome. Oh, why? Why? Why, camera? Why do you do this? That'll probably show up here in a second. There it is. There, well, there it is, and there it moved. There we go. There we go. Hello, though. Mao, hello. Megalum, hello. Mao first. Lalo, hello. Not the BAFTA, welcome. Guns and Knives, welcome. How is everyone doing on this wonderful Thursday? I know what day it is and didn't have to think about it. Hello, how's it going? Hopefully well. This is normally the part of the stream where if I had a plan, I would say what it was. I don't have a plan though. The plan today is we kind of sit here and chat. I've got a few videos ready because, well, if I can't watch videos in my free time, we'll just watch them on stream. I think that makes sense. Gotcha, let me borrow his M17. Wrong. Wrong. This is my own M17. Although it is actually the M17, like Gotcha. it does actually have the M17 markings, not the P320 or P320 M17 markings. So this was one of the collector's like limited release ones. Commemorative, I don't know, it's one of the commemorative ones. Derek, hello. I think Gotcha's might be one of the commemorative ones as well. But Gotcha has, I think, a matching M17 and M18 pair. I, unfortunately, only have the M17. Did I have it inspected? No. I did not have it inspected. Why do I need it inspected? I don't need to test like its authenticity or anything. Darius, hello, welcome. You ask because it's technically a P320. This is a P320 that has not been through the optional upgrade package. So I think really that adds to the value, honestly. It still has all the original parts in it. So I think collectors would in fact value this one higher than one of the ones that went back for work. I think that's how that works, right? Yeah, so this one is not drop safe at that specific angle that you can drop it at. I'm not planning on dropping it. Although I guess nobody really does plan on dropping them unless you're a YouTuber doing torture tests. But not gonna be planning a drop test with my commemorative M17, even though it's not like super rare and valuable. I still have the original box and everything to go with it. I got the challenge coin. There's a challenge coin in the box. In my pile of boxes. Don't get me wrong, the challenge coin is still in the box, not doing anything. It's a challenge coin in a box, in a pile of boxes. Did anyone do any celebrations for 416 or 417 day? Any HK dedicated range trips? Are challenge coins just to get free drinks at bars? That's all you've ever seen? I don't know, challenge coins are basically just like they're just like fun little coins. I guess you can like use them in displays and stuff. You don't get to turn in your M17 challenge coin for anything. Just work. You're working on 416 day. Working on National Klukai Day. Unbelievable. How could you? Majestic Potato, welcome. You bought a Chinese AK for 417? Nice. What Chinese AK? If you don't mind me asking. .556 Mac 90. Is it still in the sporter configuration with the thumb hole stock? Or has it been fixed? Quote unquote fixed. Now you're gonna be moving in 3 weeks. A little less than a month. You're gonna be moving. Hopefully you're moving somewhere cool. Like Texas or Montana. Maybe Alaska. Ameritrash plastic furniture. Not all plastic made in America is trash. Just because most of it is doesn't mean all of it is. Not the BAFTA. You don't celebrate AR-15, but worse and expensive day. I mean, it's definitely expensive. Definitely more expensive. But for the same price, I would take a 416 over an AR all day, every day. Still in California. It will be cheaper rent and a bigger place Oh no. Oh no, you're moving into the meth part of California. ATI plastic folding stock, handguard and grip. Oh, yeah, that's not the highest quality, shall we say. You're gonna switch that out for better furniture? Maybe some nice wood. Wood always just feels so much better in the hand, honestly. Still near SF. Sangvi's Ferry. I think that's how it's pronounced. Might modernize it, might keep it classic. Personally, I'm a big fan of classic kind of AK looks. But if you already have some classic AKs, then it definitely doesn't hurt to go for the modern tactical. San Francisco? No, that's boring. No, that's boring. Sangvi's Ferry. San Francisco is where... Isn't TwitchCon? Is TwitchCon in San Francisco? San Diego. It's close. It's close, I think. They both start with San. Mao lives near Special Forces based. Yeah, there's a lot of super secret special forces. San Francisco. Running the deep state through the media. Please don't take that too seriously. No permanent changes. Cosmetic. Need to widen the magwell since it's single stack. Gross. Gross single stack magwells. You see a lot of Army SOF and active duty as customers. You should tell them to escape that place when they can. By that place, I mean California. Unless they're pro-California, then they can go ahead and stay in California. I don't want pro-California people outside of California. That's even worse. All right, chat. We have a few videos to watch. We're React Andying today, chat, because I didn't have anything else to do. So we got to React Andy. Do you want to do some gunsmithing today, chat? I have this sitting here on my desk because I started working on something here, and I was like, probably should not be doing that here, and I never relocated. Spoilers. We have videos to watch, though. What is this, 5 hours? I don't know what heads are rolling at the ATF besides what's his nuts. Patel. But apparently heads are rolling at the ATF, which I support. I think he means figuratively, but it's semantics.
Oh wait, what? We're not doing that this time? Nah, okay. Well, me, I guess. Just kidding. What's up, guys? Today we're talking about some major shakeups that are happening at the ATF right now. It has been a super crazy couple days. There are actually multiple big pieces of news that I wanted to do the video on the first part a couple.
Multiple big pieces of news. Have I been living under a rock? Or have the pieces of news just not seemed big to me? How's it going? You noticed I don't have channel redemptions to see my feet. Oh shoot, I'm a guy. I mean, you could be into that if you want to. I am a dude. I know that, first of all, female VTubers don't exist. And even more rare is an actual guy VTuber, so. But no, we don't have our grippers out here. I am in fact wearing shoes. We can shoes. I got shoes. No grippers. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Why you gotta do that to me? I need to make that more expensive, don't I? I can't believe this. Still wearing shoes though. Stole that comment from someone else's chat. Someone else being down bad somewhere. It's a nice attempt at deflection. I like that. Of course, you blame someone else. All right, back to video.
Couple days ago, and then like more things started happening, and I just decided to wait for the dust to settle until I could actually do a video on everything, which thank God I did. TLDR, which for those of you over 30 means too long didn't read. A lot of shit's on the chopping block right now and heads are rolling at the ATF. But to do the opposite of what George Lucas would advise, let's start at the beginning. The ATF under Kash Patel has just reversed a huge pain in the ass in the gun industry and the gun community. He's doing great things. I hope he sticks around. We'll get to that.
And didn't it come out that Patel had been out of the ATF for like 2 months or something? When people actually started like circling the information? That's I'm pretty sure that is how that went. Awooga hubba hubba. Wolf whistle. What's a wolf whistle? Steam blowing out of ears. Going all Looney Tunes over there. We're gonna need a doctor to check on Megalum. After all those strange contortions his body went through in those Looney Tunes animations, see if he's still alive.
Just patience. But if you're sitting there wondering, Brandon, why the fuck would I care about the zero tolerance policy? I've never even heard of it. Allow me to enlighten you. The zero tolerance policy is one of the most egregious ways that the Biden administration weaponized the ATF. They realized, because of the way that the Supreme Court was staggered, they probably couldn't get away with a lot of crazy, just overreaching gun laws, at least on the federal level. So what they decided to do instead is if they realized they couldn't go after the individual right to keep and bear arms, crazy, it's almost like it's in the fucking Constitution, they would go after the people who were selling and manufacturing the guns, which is where they started weaponizing audits on mom and pop FFLs. FFL is a federal firearms license. Basically anywhere you've ever gone to that's a pawn shop, a gun store, anything, they've got an FFL. Basically it just allows them to either sell guns or, in the manufacturer case, like an 07,
it is good
manufacture
that
firearms. Now the ATF has had a history of doing
the zero tolerance policy. It's good that's gone. I'm gonna be honest, the zero tolerance policy, I know that it was bad. I also don't personally know of any shops that were closed down because of it. I'm obviously not saying that I know like every gun shop ever existed, but I do know quite a few gun shops, and they're all still around.
Doing audits on FFLs where basically they'll come in, they'll make sure that you've got all the guns on the books that you're supposed to have, and basically they're just making sure that you're not hawking guns out the back of your gun store to the fucking cartel, because only the ATF can do that.
I think probably most of the FFLs that the ATF was shutting down were going to be like the run out of the house, like, yeah, I'm gonna have this FFL, but like for like family and friends. Like, yeah, I guess it's a business, but they don't actually make like a livable wage off of it. It's just like a little bit of extra on the side. I would guess that that's most of the FFLs that had any big repercussions from the zero tolerance policy.
Infiltrate the dealers. Find the supply.
But instead of using these audits to actually catch people who are committing real crimes and selling to people they're legally not supposed to be, they started going after every little minor clerical error they possibly could. People who weren't dotting their I's, crossing their T's. Maybe you use the acronym for the state that you live in instead of the full name of the state written out. Any little thing to say that paperwork wasn't filled out correctly so that they could revoke your FFL. So instead of going after people who were actually committing real crimes and selling to people that they weren't supposed to, they were going after every little clerical error that they could to shut down local gun stores, mom and pop places, anybody who basically couldn't afford to fight the federal government in court. And now you might be asking, Brandon, this sounds like a technicality. Was anybody actually hurt by this? Fucking yes. In fact,
a couple shops near you got hit with the no tolerance. Oof. Rough. Hopefully they weren't ones that you frequented.
The first few months when the Biden administration rolled this out, FFL revocations, people losing their business, their livelihood, their FFLs. FFL revocation was up over 500%. They couldn't ban the guns.
That's a lot of percent. It's a lot of percent, Chat.
Shady about it. Even when I did my testimony in that congressional field hearing, I spoke specifically about
look at that spiffy looking guy.
Issue. Another way the ATF has been expanding its authority is by targeting legal federal firearms license
I wish I looked that good in a suit.
holders or FFLs, such as gun stores, gun manufacturer, and so on. And it wasn't just me. Several of the other people that were testifying with me there at that hearing were either in danger or had just lost their licenses over this rule. In fact, that's how I met Chris Smith, the guy that I currently co-own Firearms Direct Club with. The first time we met each other, he was also there giving his testimony, talking about how his gun shop in Florida was being targeted by this policy. But now, if you have an FFL, you can breathe a small sigh of relief because the zero tolerance policy has now been removed, which is huge. I mean, I myself am an 0702 FFL, manufacturer FFL, and I shouldn't have to feel like I'm walking on eggshells, being afraid of an audit, even though I know I'm not breaking the law, but that they'll try to find some small paperwork error to try to make me out to be a criminal, to take away my business, possibly with political motivation. And believe me, there was a time when that was a concern. Now, there is one big outstanding question. The people
Imagine if the ATF had come after Mr. AK Man while he was running for Congress. I think if that had happened, he would have won. That would have been a huge amount of publicity. And like he would have lost his like FFL at least for a bit. But he would be in Congress, probably.
People who were victimized by the zero tolerance policy, will they have their licenses restored? I'm not sure what the plan for that is currently, but I certainly hope that there is a system to expedite those people getting their livelihood back. But for the time being, I'm just considering it a massive win. That mom and pop shops, local small businesses no longer have to live in fear of the big green weenie of the federal government casting a mushroom-shaped shadow over their entire existence. What a sentence. So yeah, summary, first part of this video, zero tolerance policy, out the fucking window.
What kind of mushroom
Pack watch,
shadow
rest in
is
piss,
that?
You won't be
Again, can you specify
Speaking
that?
of Pack, I want to give a real quick thank you to TacPack. Right.
TacPack.
Stab myself
Ads.
here. TacPack is a monthly subscription service where you can get cool shit like AR-15 Tactical Multi-Tool, Kung Fu Pistol Grips, Rat's Tourniquet. You've never seen Heat? Oh, fuck you, man. Walker's Ear Pro.
I also have not seen Heat. It's okay.
And more. And new subscribers can use the code AKGUY to get a free extra package of tactical gear worth $60. And the May TacPack Plus is going to be worth over $260.
That's more than $4.
That's objectively true. And this next TacPack features AR-15 accessories, EDC gear, medical equipment, and more. Actually, before I put this knife away, we'd also like to thank SDI for continuing to be a channel sponsor. If you'd like to get your
2 ads
start
in a row.
gunsmithing and weapons technology, be sure to check them out.
Can you
using the
believe
links
this,
in the
chat?
description and in the pin.
2 ads in a row.
At sdi.edu. Back to the video. So yeah, suffice it to say, I am super stoked that under Kash Patel's leadership, the ATF has been making moves to reverse stupid rules like the zero tolerance policy. Absolutely making steps in the right direction, and I am very excited to see under Kash Patel's leadership where the ATF is going to go on, and he's gone. Yeah, Kash got fired. Yeah, that,
Rip.
yeah. A little confused by this move, not going to lie, but I do understand, because
Whatever I thought of Kash Patel, or whatever anyone thinks of Kash Patel, I was not a fan of the same guy being in charge of both the ATF and the FBI. That was a little bit of a red flag for me. So I don't know anything about this new guy who's replacing him, but I don't like the same guy in charge of both of the things.
Kash Patel was wearing 2 hats, where he was the acting director of the ATF while also being the confirmed director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the FBI. I was pretty excited by the implications of that, given that it's always been my dream that the ATF, slowly reversed all of these rulings and then was just lumped into the FBI and gotten rid of entirely. Just gutting all the parts of its existence that only exist to infringe on law-abiding citizens and keep the stuff like, arson investigations and stuff that are actually, solving real crime. So obviously once Kash was confirmed as director of the FBI and also was picked as head of the ATF, I got a little excited for the potential of, what that was going to become. But we do have a new acting director.
The potential for that to become, most likely, was all kinds of government overreach. You want someone to have both the power of the ATF and FBI? No way that could possibly go wrong. No way at all. Megalum, you can be trusted with this power. Please give you total oversight over government agencies. I think I would be pretty good. Put me in charge of all the agencies. Honestly, I don't care about most of them. I don't have the technical knowledge for many of them. And honestly, I think that's perfect.
Director. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome stage left, Dan Driscoll, the new acting director of the ATF. Once again, we have another guy who is wearing 2 hats. He is the current U.S. Secretary of the Army, as well as the newly appointed acting director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. So what do we know about him aside from that?
I have never heard of this guy before. Been living under a rock.
Well, we know he was a combat veteran in Iraq, but aside from that, he was also a Republican candidate for Congress, specifically in North Carolina's 11th district, where he lost in the Republican primary. I get it. Aside from that, his actual stance on gun policy and things like that, I really wish I had better news. I don't know. Would love to get a direct...
That's what we need to know. I don't care what party he ran for. or that he was in the military. Neither of those things really mean anything for his stance on guns, unfortunately.
Direct line of communication, because we have a lot of ideas and a lot of ways that this new ATF can, stop being gay. But if you have some concerns, don't worry, because I'm about to give you some weapons grade copium. I have reason to believe that the ATF is still gaining momentum in the right direction, because just recently, the deputy director of the ATF has been fired, shit canned, excommunicado, fuckity bye-bye. Marvin Richardson was the deputy director of the ATF, but he was also a long-standing ATF employee, having a career spanning
that was not the most
35
flattering
years.
image of that
He was
guy.
the deputy director since 2019 and was also the acting director from 2021 to 2022. Let's go back to that 35 years at the ATF bit. Do the mental math. What happened in the last 35 years at the ATF?
There's a lot. It's a lot that happened.
Yeah. Old Marvin was awarded medals for his involvement.
Oh my holy lack of jawline. This guy needs a beard. This guy... So you know those memes, chat? When people are comparing Japanese animation to American animation. And on the Japanese side, they've got like some like beautiful anime person. And on the American animation side, they've got like some jankety looking weird proportioned guy. That's what this guy looks like. He doesn't need cosmetic surgery. All this guy needs is a beard. If this guy just had a nice, well-groomed beard, he'd be sailing. He'd be sailing good. Not to be mean, he looks like he yokes when he laughs. Yeah, he kind of does. Bro needs a beard real bad. Oh, I'm trying to be helpful here. Kind of.
At the siege of Waco. Motherfucker had the Burning Women and Children Alive merit badge. On top of that, he was largely touted as the father of the arm brace restrictions, as well as a whole host of other unconstitutional shit that the ATF has been pushing for the last 10 years or so. And he is fucking out of there. Do not pass go, do not collect $200, fuck you. I hope you have a hangnail every day for the rest of your life. This guy had bragged in the past about how much they've been able to do at the ATF to circumvent having to get laws passed by Congress.
That was no small feat, because literally when you talk about changing it, we had to do it through a regulatory process, not a statutory process, because we couldn't change the language of the statute, but we could redefine the terminology that's in the statute.
So that guy was bragging about circumventing the Constitution of the United States. Yeah, it's a good thing he's gone. You probably shouldn't say on Twitch what he needs to look good. Beards definitely are okay, TOS. He needs a beard for sure. Guy talks like America cares about him. Huge ego. Yeah, it's because he's a bureaucrat. Bureaucrats have massive egos.
He's talking about how many extra rules they're able to put on law-abiding citizens without using the legal system, circumventing Schoolhouse Rock and just putting in whatever he thinks should be the rules, not what the Constitution says has to happen. Motherfucker bragged about it. So for the second time in this video, Marvin Richardson. Packwatch, rest in piss, you won't be missed. Yeah, these are just kind of some big moves happening in the ATF. I don't know how this is all going to shake out, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. And if you're thinking about that one thing that just happened, don't worry, we'll be talking about that. I have to talk to some people and make sure that I'm allowed to say what I want to say about that.
Is this the guy who was arrested and charged with having an illegal SBR and an illegal pistol for the same gun? That's probably what he's talking about.
You know, without fucking up certain plans. But don't worry, we will be talking about that soon. Also, sorry for being a cryptic asshole. I know I'm not trying to sound interesting. I just really don't know what I should say at the moment. And as if this video wasn't late enough, we have yet another update. I'm so fucking tired. So the deputy director of the ATF got fired. That's fucking great. We've now been informed on who the new one will be. Introducing your new deputy director, Robert Cicada? No, I have been pretty optimistic of all of the changes over at the ATF since
Who is that?
Trump took office. This is the first one, I'll be honest with you, throws up a little bit of a yellow flag for me. I do not know much about this man's views on the Second Amendment. However, I do know he's a career ATF guy. Nothing in his resume that I've been able to find is particularly egregious, but being a lifelong Fed naturally makes the hair in the back of my neck stand up. Is there anything obvious that
Yes,
means
it
he
does.
will be bad? No. Am I worried he might be a speed bump to the dismantlement of the bullshit regulations of the ATF in the future? Absolutely. Only time will tell, but this is just another...
The only guy at the ATF who I might think about trusting is that one guy from the Glock switch video who let an entire mag rip from a full auto Glock and kept it in the A zone. This is the only guy who I might think about trusting.
Another update that's been shotgunned at us in the last few hours. A lot of shit's happening very quickly, and I'm trying to keep you guys informed without turning this into just like a politics-only channel. But I felt the need to update you guys on this before I released the video, so if it's a little late, that's why. I appreciate your patience. Back to past me. In the meantime, we've had some fun projects we've been cooking up, so if you'd like to see more of that, be sure to subscribe or make sure you're still subscribed down below. I appreciate you guys as always for staying to the end of the video, and I will see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next one. Thanks, guys.
Alright, well, that wasn't near as breaking news as I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd miss something big.
So instead of going after people who are actually committing real crimes and selling people, So instead of going after people that were committing real crimes and selling to people that they weren't supposed to, they were going after
The government
every
probably sells
little
people, let's be
cleric.
honest.
Fuck me. But for the time being, I'm just considering it a win that mom and pop FFLs, local small businesses, don't have to deal with the impending doom of the giant green... Fuck.
Well, apparently nobody knows anything about these two new guys. Hopefully they're good. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of faith. Your first time hearing it? I don't know, I may... We're probably not going to look into it on stream because that'd be boring. I'm probably gonna look into them a little bit off stream at least. I also may not. I may feel lazy after stream. Selling guns to people you aren't supposed to isn't a real crime either. Except it's written into the criminal code, the criminal statutes. So I guess technically if you're being super semantic, you can sell the guns all day, you just can't transfer it to them. It sounds pretty infringy to you. I mean, it can be infringy as much as it wants, but it is in the criminal statutes. And if that doesn't make something a real crime, then I don't know what does. Oh, I'm yawning already. It's not good. Not even an hour into stream and I'm yawning. Hurting people is real crime. So a crime with victims, definitely real crime. Victimless crimes, not a real crime. But there is like a kind of gray area in between those. Or like if I knowingly sell a gun to a serial killer, did I directly do anything wrong? Well, not directly. But also, like there's not going to be no victims involved in that situation just because there weren't any at the time when I theoretically would have done that. Do we have a schedule for gun anime watch along? Nope. Nope. I have not scheduled anything. You updated your list. Lots of them. There are so many good ones. The problem is that I love guns. I love guns in anime. But also a lot of the genres of anime that I watch often, particularly right now, there's not a lot of crossover. So I don't know. I do need to watch some though. I have so many anime on my need to watch list. Have I seen? I have gotten through Upote somehow. I honestly wish I hadn't. I I wish I had stopped at like episode 2. That I didn't like that one. That is my least favorite anime I've ever watched. Didn't Blood Plus have guns? I don't know. I don't know that one. Yeah, Upote. It's got the gun girls thing going on. It does have, I will admit, it's got some pretty good like gun puns through. The problem is you have to overlook that it's about like a teacher-student relationship and they're middle schoolers. Which is why it was so off-putting to me. I didn't like that. Didn't like that at all. The gun drawing looks good in Upote. I mean, if you just want to look at still frames of the guns, it's pretty good. But the actual anime itself is the most uncomfortable thing to watch ever. There's a lot of really good anime with really well drawn guns. That aren't about relationships between a teacher and their middle school students. There was a clip. There was a clip of a Fate that I haven't seen. Which Fate is it? Is it Fate? There's like some Fate that happens in America. Fate. Fate Strange Fake? Is that a new anime? Like, is it just now releasing? I saw a clip of that and it had guns in it. There's only 2 episodes out. So it's either really short or it's still releasing. Okay, so I guess the anime is still releasing. There's 2 episodes out. Apparently, I'm just now like looking at it. Apparently there was a 3-month gap between the first 2 episodes that released, and there's no release schedule for the rest of the episodes. So I don't know anything about it. Apparently nobody knows anything about it, including the studio that's releasing it. Oh, chat, has anyone? I know I saw Gotcha had one. Has anyone else ordered the new Springfield? The Hell Kuna? Or just the Kuna? Mao, you wish? Looks cool. It looks pretty cool. I've not watched any reviews on it or anything. All I know is that it's different from the one they showed at Iwa a little bit. Which is disappointing because they took away like some of the coolest parts from the one they showed at Iwa. The Kuna that they showed at Iwa, first of all, it had a stock, which, yeah, import restrictions and stuff. You had to bring it in as a pistol. But it also no longer has the tri-lug. And it has a curved mag. They lost the straight mag. Import-export regulations. It's definitely import regulations. So it's got the curved mag now. And no tri-lug. And most importantly, no stock. And without the stock, I'm like mildly interested. I'm mildly interested without the stock. But I'm not going to buy something I'm mildly interested in. There's a lot of things I'm mildly interested in. But with the stock, like if the stock is available, then that goes from a mildly interested to a, well, I gotta get that. $922R. Yeah. Import restrictions are stupid, particularly around firearms. But there's nothing stopping them from importing the pistols and importing the stocks and selling them separately, because it's just manufacturers that have to worry about 922R nonsense. Like, you as a civilian can put together whatever conglomeration of parts you want. You don't have to deal with all the import stuff because you're not an importer or a manufacturer. Best you can hope for is getting it from a European site. I can't wait to double the cost of it in shipping and import fees. Ugh. Tato, your big EP, barely operating on 50 minutes of sleep last night. Why did you only get 50 minutes of sleep? That's worse than me. Have a good rest of stream. Thank you. Chat, behave yourselves. Potato said so. And so hopefully the stock becomes available. The Kuna is probably going to end up being one of a whole list of guns that I will buy as soon as I can get the accessories. So, like the Chiappa CBR9, same boat. I think it's pretty cool, very neat. However, if I can't get the stock and the foregrip for it, it's mildly interesting, and I'm not going to buy it. The Beretta, the PMX, and the Beretta PMX, pretty cool. Stock's not available, which pretty quickly dashes how interested I am in it. So I'm not going to get one of those either. So that's kind of the boat I'm in with the Kuna. I think it's cool. I would like one. But they're only selling me part of it. They're only selling me part of it. I want the whole thing. I want the whole package. They just chop part of it off and like, here you go. You can have that much. I don't want that much. I want the whole thing. We do, however, have one of the few internet people who I actually value their opinion. A Mr. Forgotten Weapons himself. Here. Link video. All right.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and today we are taking a look at the brand new Kuna. This is the pistol in this format / pistol caliber carbine / submachine gun developed and manufactured by HS Product in Croatia and imported and sold in the United States by Springfield Armory. HS Product, of course, is the same company that does the VH2 rifles, aka the Springfield Hellion, as well as the Echelon pistols, aka actually the Echelon. It's been really cool to get a chance to look at the development of products from HS Product in Croatia over the course of their existence in the last 30 or 40 years. They started at the beginning of Croatian independence in 1991, and their first products were like, oh, they were not very good, but they've done this really...
Oh, Springfield made something new? Looks inside. Oh, it's Croatian. Yeah, pretty much. American Springfield is not doing anything special, unfortunately. Luckily, HS Product is doing cool stuff.
Impressive job of
Not cool enough to give me the carry handle integrated sight for the VHS, though.
Incrementing up the technology and the quality of their firearms to the point where today they're making some really good stuff. And the Echelon and the VH2 are both really good examples of that. Now, in 2020, they started development of a submachine gun. And they actually started this in .40 Smith & Wesson caliber, the idea being kind of like the HK USP. If we develop it in .40, it's then really easy to scale it down for 9mm and
Also, Brazil. Also Brazil. If something's in .40, you know Brazil is involved. And give me 1 second. I have ripped off a hangnail, and my finger is bleeding all over the place. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I lived. Did not die to blood loss. I was close, though. .40 is just as powerful as 5.56 out of a 7-inch barrel, isn't? I've not done the math on that one. I would believe it, though. If you purely define power as how much like inertia it has or something.
It'll work fine in both calibers, where if we start in 9 and then we want to bump it up to 40, well, then you get into issues of maybe you don't have enough material, enough mass. 40 is a stronger cartridge that's a little harder to make work properly. So you may also be asking, does anyone actually use .40 Smith & Wesson anymore? And the answer is yes. One of the main contract that exists for these so far, given that they've just basically been released in the last couple of months, or announced in the last couple of months, was
Brazil.
the Brazilian police in Sao Paulo, and they specifically wanted to test an example in 40 Smith & Wesson. So this, in fact, won the competition for Sao Paulo police, beating out the B&T APC-9. Anyway.
This beat the B&T? I would like more information on those trials, please.
Fundamentally, what we have here is a closed bolt, semi-automatic only, because this is the imported pistol version of it, delayed blowback 9mm PCC, or pistol. It's pretty cool. It has, a lot of its mechanical elements are inspired by the Strybog A3, with some improvements. Like I said, this started in 2020 as primarily, apparently, a commercial project of, they knew PCCs were popular and probably going to stay popular or get more popular over time. But it seems like there was also definitely some military aspiration for this project. The police and army in Croatia still use a lot of MP5s, and they're really old.
Beat equals was cheaper. I mean, that's like partly why I want more information on the trials, right? Because obviously, this is going to be cheaper than a Swiss B&T. And we are talking about, and I don't say this with any like negative intention, not one of the most well-funded police agencies on the planet. The Sao Paulo Brazilian police force. So obviously, price is going to be a factor. But I want to know how much of a factor it was.
Old MP5s these days, and apparently they've had some issues getting service and support from HK. And so HS Product clearly saw that at some point before too long, a lot of the military or government and military forces in Croatia are going to want to replace their MP5s. And if HS Product can, provide them with a similar closed bolt, delayed blowback 9mm platform, they probably have those military and police sales locked in. Anyway, let's take a closer look at how this actually disassembles and how it works. All right, Springfield is selling this as a pistol configuration like this. It does have a Picatinny section at the back, and it comes with a side-folding pistol arm brace, which I've removed at the moment just to make things smaller. By the way, this whole thing comes in at 4.5 pounds for the pistol, 5.25 pounds if you add in the brace. Nice, lightweight, convenient guy. 6-inch barrel on it. This, by the way, is threaded, but we have we've uncranked the muzzle brake. So normally this is timed vertical. We're taking it off because we're going to put a different muzzle brake on it a little bit later on. I'll get to that at the end of the video.
You better be putting a tri-lug on there.
So it's offset a little bit right here. That is how it would normally be timed. Let's take a look at some of the markings now. The name of the gun is Kuna. This is, HS Product appears to be starting to exert some of their independence from their American import partner, Springfield.
Thank goodness.
Because this is not a Hell something named gun. They have actually just maintained the Croatian.
Hell Kuna would have been pretty funny, though. Not in a good way. But if they sold a gun named the Hell Kuna, it'd get memed quite a bit.
Name of the gun, which is Kuna. Now, Kuna is sort of a mascot animal of Croatia. It's akin to a marmot, and it's also the name of the Croatian currency.
Look at that fluffy tail. Oh my goodness. It looks like it doesn't want to be touched. But look at that fluffy tail. Just ignore these eyes that are hiding murder and focus on the tail. It is a lovely marmot. Spike, you love it. It's great. Can we get these domesticated? Not as ferrets. I don't want a ferret. I want this.
Prior to the adoption of the euro, actually, it's kind of a funny story. Kuna pelts were used in like medieval times, as de facto currency in areas of what is now Croatia. And it became the name of the currency, kind of like the way buck is used as a slang for a dollar in the United States, which is a callback to the westward expansion period when a deer pelt...
Why didn't they engrave the animal on the gun? Because they are not that cringe. Because they're not as cringe as Chiappa or Taurus. Give you the mini murder machine. Yeah, exactly. It's like a giant evil squirrel. Kuna pelts are used for high-end markets. That's how most particularly small animal pelts are used now anyways.
Or a buck pelt was worth $1. Anyway, we have the importer mark here, Springfield Armory, Geneseo, Illinois, serial number, caliber, all that. And then HS product, Karlovac, Croatia, and the Springfield Armory logo on the left side. Now, much to, I'm sure, some of your dismay, this does use a proprietary magazine. It's a dark, translucent, 30-round double stack.
So I'm not against proprietary mags, but when they showed this at IWA, I remember them saying in a video that the reason they went to a proprietary mag was so that you could use the same magazine for 40 and 9mm. Unless I'm mistaken. And that was the new Taurus PCC that I forgot what that one's called. I'm pretty sure it was this one though. I don't know. I don't mind proprietary parts. In fact, I often prefer them.
Double feed magazine seems pretty good. We got metal followers, metal reinforcement, metal feed lips up here with you can see how much ammunition is in it, which
be awesome. 1 mag, 2 calibers. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fact check that at some point. Because I don't remember if that was this one or the Taurus PCC. It was one of these two. I'll look it up later.
At the moment is 0. Then all of the controls are ambidextrous, which is pretty cool. We've got our selector lever here, sort of HK style, HK pictogram style. In the military pattern, this is a 3-position, and it also has a full auto setting, but of course, semi-auto is just
pictograph. Let's go.
Magazine release, bolt lock open, very AR style controls. And we have exactly the same controls on the other side.
And they don't have the T handle, thank goodness.
There is a folding charging handle on top that can be swapped from left to right, whichever side you want it on. We'll do that in just a moment. The sights are kind of cool. These are frankly like MP7 style of sights, where if you have them folded down, you have pistol style open sights with a U-notch there.
It looks like they're pistols.
And a white dot in the front.
Literal pistol sights.
You can also fold them up. And you get aperture sights. So you can zero the windage back here. You can zero the elevation right there. These are perfectly usable iron sights if you SBR this and put a stock on it, or if you're shooting it from the shoulder. These are generally going to be too low to use from the shoulder, but they are appropriate pistol sights. And they give you a backup if you put like a red dot optic on here. You do, of course, have Picatinny running the full length of the top of the gun and a couple.
I don't think those low sights are high enough to co-witness a red dot.
Of M-LOK slots on the front end. All right, now disassembly, pretty simple stuff. We've got a push pin in the back, captive, pull that out to there, and that allows you to pivot down the lower. I can also remove the front pin right there and remove the lower entirely. Got nice solid metal fire control parts there. AR pattern pistol grip. The grip that it comes with has
the Skittles
compartment in it, but you can replace this with any other AR grip.
How many Skittles does it fit?
With the lower assembly either pivoted out of the way or removed altogether, we can then take off the back plate. This
You assume the sights co-witness? So the flip-up sights definitely would co-witness. These super low pistol sights, there's no way those are going to co-witness with anything you mount on the rail. There's just no way. You might be able to get like a riser that you can see the sights through, but there's no way these low sights are going to co-witness with anything.
on the military pattern submachine gun would be the stock assembly. We pull that down and then it pivots out like so. So there's a little notch, a little lug here that locks it into the top of the receiver. This is polymer, the receiver is aluminum. And with that out, I can then pull out a hole. Well, first the recoil spring and buffer assembly, and then the bolt assembly right there. At this point, by the way, I have my charging handle non-reciprocating, and I can bring it here, right to the end, pull it out, and I can just put it back in the other side if
For all the
I so
wrong-handed
desire.
people out there.
There we go. So easy enough to do that. Inside the receiver, we have a fixed ejector, steel ejector, and we also have a replaceable feed ramp there. Again, that's also steel, so that's going to have much better durability and resilience than if it were made out of aluminum.
Replaceable
And then
feed
we've got
ramp
our
is very
trunnion located
very interesting.
right there. The bolt assembly here does look quite a lot like a Strybog A3 bolt, and this is delayed blowback, so what you have is essentially a single roller here instead of two on the sides like you'd see on HK. You've got one roller up there and a spring-loaded element on the front of the bolt. So when this goes fully into battery, see if you can see it, right there is a little round divot, and there's a matching one right there on the other side. Those two, well, this pin drops into those two. So before the bolt can move backward,
delaying
that
mechanism.
Roller pin has to move upward in the bolt. When it moves upward, it has to pull this extra weight in with it. So there's a spring and this weight.
That doesn't
That's
seem like it
what's
would delay it very
providing
much.
The delay on opening. This, when you fire, pressure is going to push back on the cartridge case, which is going to push this whole assembly back, which is going to push these two rollers up against those round cuts in the inside of the trunnion there. That is going to pull this element.
You don't need much. Yeah, you don't need much. I mean, there's a reason that there's a whole market full of direct blowback that have literally nothing besides just the weight of the bolt. So even something just little itty bitty tiny like this, it's not much. It'd probably do something though. I haven't shot it. I don't know.
Back as this center roller runs on the curved surface on the inside of that. One of the things they did to improve this over the Strybog is add that center roller. It's got more surface area in contact with the delaying weight, and it also doesn't fall out when you take the thing apart. So this stays together as one assembly. Other than that, you just have the mass of the bolt here acting as your delaying mass. We have a firing pin retainer right there. Pretty much all there is to it. And there you are. There is the new HS product
That firing pin retaining lever is huge.
Springfield Kuna, all field stripped. Now, I don't know exactly what Springfield has in mind for this, but what I can tell you from other information that's available is that in Croatia, this is made available with a 6-inch threaded barrel, which is the version you see here with that muzzle brake on it. They also have a 6.5-inch version that comes with an HK-style tri-lug adapter. And they are planning, apparently, to do a 12-inch carbine version primarily as a semi-automatic PCC. Of course, that would work in much of Europe. In the US, 12-inch isn't sufficient. They'd have to come up with something to get it to 16.
A 12-inch version of that might be pretty cool.
A 12-inch pistol, or I don't know exactly what. Maybe Springfield's planning on doing a 16-inch version. Seems like a reasonable thing to do. They do supply it, of course, with this brace, but there's no reason that they couldn't do other buttstock versions, especially for a non-NFA 16-inch barrel with a fixed or a folding stock. 40.
If they brought in the 16-inch version, that would probably make the actual stock that's supposed to go on there way more accessible.
Smith & Wesson and 9mm both currently exist as being manufactured in Croatia. Whether or not Springfield is going to import the 40s, I don't know. Depends if they see a potential market for those. However, HS Product has also said that they are interested in and working on developing a larger version, or a slightly larger magazine version for 45 ACP and 10mm. So
I think they need to make one in 7.5 Burno. I think that's what we're missing.
That would be kind of cool. The MSRP here in the United States is apparently going to be just under $1,000. The magazines, while proprietary, are apparently going to be about $25 a piece. So actually, really, like, that's a pretty tempting price for, I think, the level of quality that we see in this. It's got all the features you would want in a good PCC, ambidextrous controls.
No, not 5.7. 7.5. That is in fact something different. I guess it's 7.5 FK, not 7.5 Burno. Excuse me, I got my brand switched around. This weird guy. The rebirth of 7.62 by 25. 7.5 by 27. Bring in the Hell Kuna in 7.5. $22 TCM, how dare you? How dare.
Delay blowback system. Looks pretty cool to me. So I'm not doing any shooting with this right now. Please bear with me. The reason is it's currently legally a pistol, and my friend and sometime cameraman Jordan is taking this to Lynx Brutality, and it's way easier to export it and re-import it as a pistol than if it's registered as an SBR. So we're leaving it that way, but
How are braces regulated internationally? If he's taking this to Lynx Brutality, like once it leaves the country, can he just like put a stock on there? Because on the receiving end, they probably don't care, right? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one.
But I don't want to shoot it on camera with the brace because I'm just not confident how those laws are going to change in the future. Totally different thing. If you have it at home, absolutely go ahead and shoot it. It is right now legal, but I don't want to be the guy who puts up a video that's good till the end of time and then discovers the law changes later. So after Lynx Brutality, we're going to go ahead and register this as an SBR. Hopefully by that point, we'll be able to have gotten the tri-lug adapter.
It is crazy. Absolutely insane that you have to worry about whether or not you can shoot this with a brace on it due to potential legal changes in the future. But if you just put a stock on it and say it's an SBR, then it's perfectly fine. Because while I absolutely believe that he actually is going to register it, you don't have to prove that it is. Like, you just show up on YouTube and you're like, here's my SBR. Because I said so. You don't, like, show paperwork. Now, I think it'd be stupid as all get out to show an SBR on YouTube without having done the paperwork. But literally all YouTube knows is just, this guy says it is what it is. Which is crazy. Insanity. Knock knock ATF. Yeah. But if you shoot it with a brace on it, That's scary. A whole stock? No, that's fine. But a brace? No, no, no.
And the military style solid side folding buttstock we can put on and do some shooting footage with it then in its proper military configuration. So sorry for not having any shooting for you right now, but it'll come. We have, by the way, done some shooting with this out at the range. It's fantastic. It feels great. The delayed blowback absolutely does what delayed blowback's supposed to do, and it's a very comfortable shooting gun. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this one. We'll be back a little later with some more on it. Thanks for watching.
I definitely want to see that in the brutality match. We'll be tuning in for that for sure. ATF recently raided 4chan users. Man, 4chan's having a rough go of it, aren't they? Also, chat, don't commit felonies. But if you do, don't post on the internet. I do want the Kuna. But I also want the stock. I feel like that's not a big ask to have the stock. Just give me the whole gun. Give me the whole thing. It does look good. It looks even better with the stock on it. Gotta watch out on people close to you as well. Yeah, if you have a nice attractive girlfriend, don't show her for sure, because that's a fed. Yeah, if you've got any narcs in your personal circles, first of all, you probably shouldn't. And don't tell them. You'll stay with your CX4 for now. The Kuna is tempting. I have almost bought a CX4 so many times, but I never have quite done it. The CX4 does look really cool. Super sci-fi. There's a few CX4s on Gunbroker right now. Man, the price of CX4s has gone up. Current bid $755 with 9 days left. For a 40 Smith & Wesson CX4. I kind of want a CX4. It's one of the many guns that I have mild interest in. But I don't own, because as cool as I think it is, it's only mild interest. 40? I say, yeah, 40. There you go. 2005 Beretta CX4, 40 Smith & Wesson. 4 mags and original case. There you go, chat. Oh, and they've got all the stock spacers in it. Someone tall had this thing. You get your first one for 700, second for 600, third for 5, and fourth we don't. You have 4. You You have 4 of these things? Why? Why do you have 4? Did you SBR at least one of them? Is this a left-handed version? Or is this one of the ones... Can you change the ejection side on this? Oh, there's the right side. And the left side. Can you change the ejection side on the CX-4? That'd be pretty cool. Pretty ahead of its time. If that is the case. Unfortunately, 750 with 9 days left and $40 shipping. First gen is your original. Second will be eventually SBR. Third is FDE. Fourth is a mutant that you bought for parts. Reasonable. Do you have the long mag? I know there are long mags for it. Do you have the long mags? These ones, the long mag. Metgar 20 are perfection, nearly flush. Yeah, but 30. And very much not flush. I don't know, chat. I think these are pretty cool. I might be a little biased. I would think these were way cooler if you could actually get the stock they were supposed to have. Gives you alien vibes, this one. I can see it. Would be cooler if you could get the actual stock for it. Did you tell me that you found one in 40? What, the Taurus CT40? I've seen those before. I have almost bought a Taurus CT40. Actually, almost bought as in I literally had bid on it, but someone outbid me. Someone else was more dedicated to having a 40 than I was. Was it you? Was it you, Lalo? Did you outbid me on the Taurus CT40? Was that a gun shop? You bought a pistol instead? Yeah, I got mine at a gun shop. I think I think I got my CT9 at Cabela's, actually. I think I did, now that I'm thinking about it. I think I got it at a Cabela's. Like whenever you're in a like a Cabela's or some like big retail store that has used guns, always look at their used guns. Because a lot of the time, they'll have stuff that someone brought in, and whatever their appraiser, they look at it like, I don't know what this is. You want $200? And people sometimes will take it, and you can find some weird stuff. Your local Bass Pro never has anything good, so there usually won't be anything good. I'm not saying that there's going to be good stuff very often, but every now and then, something will be good. Looks like a High Point with an ATI stock. You take that back. Take that back right now. I've gotten quite a few things that some buyer had no idea what he was looking at and was like, I'll give you something for that. And they put it out for like nothing. And I kind of feel bad for whatever schmuck got taken advantage of. But I don't know. Worked out for me in the end. So what guns have I gotten like that? So I got my CT9 like that. I got my Boberg like that, actually. Those are the two I can think of off the top of my head. They definitely have been. Oh, no. My over-under. Got my over-under like that. It's my over-under. I've got a Turkish over-under that was just like priced like it was just some like throwaway like Turkish pump shotgun used, but it was like the nice like ported barrel like sporter over-under, which I say nice. It's still like a budget over-under, but it was priced like a used throwaway like Turkish pump shotgun. So I was like, yeah, obviously I have to get that. You have a Turkish over-under. It's a CZ. The CZ over-unders are supposed to be pretty nice. I've not shot one. I've heard good things about them though. Redhead Premier. And the CZ shotgun that I kind of think is cool. The CZ Coach, is it just called the CZ Coach? It is. Oh, the CZ Hammer Coach. The CZ Hammer Coach looks good. Like just like, as a like old school like little external hammer, it looks nice. It looks nice. And they are like full length shotguns. So you got a full length shotgun. I feel like if I got one of these, I don't know if I would leave it in the full length or if I would schwack off the barrel. so nice. They look so good. They look good. They're probably high quality. I don't know. They look good. And if you're getting a shotgun like this, like the kind of old West style, you definitely care more about how it looks than how it functions. SBR it. Does the government want tax money? The government always wants tax money. Yeah, this as like an SBS and the barrels like half an inch to an inch in front of the handguard. I think they go pretty hard. I think that'd be pretty nice. Keep the stock though. I want to keep the stock on it. I don't want to just hand cannon. The problem is they're kind of expensive. So they're like $1,000, which for a side-by-side is not bad. But then once I had it, then I'd have to have work done to it. You gotta get a tax stamp. And then you gotta have a gunsmith who actually like does double barrel stuff, cut down the barrels. Cause it's not just like sawing them down. You also gotta deal with the rib and all that stuff. So it's a $1,000 entry project. And then probably another $500 or $600 after that. I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll be your Huckleberry. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many cool things that I want that I can't have. Well, that I could have, but I don't have the money. Don't have the money for all of it, which is really the big sad. What is this? HK 417 full auto. Wind noises. 417 full auto is gonna recoil a little bit.
Going hot.
I think I kept pretty good control of that.
Going hot.
I've shot a semi-auto 417. That was pretty fun. Not a full auto though. Missed your dream P229 a few weeks back. You always got to have like a secondary savings for a dream gun. Should the opportunity arise. Like you have your savings, and you're spending, and then like saving spending, and in the saving spending, well, you keep a little there for things you can't pass up. And then if two things happen that you can't pass up in quick succession, that is unfortunate. You're on SSI, so government does extra looking. I don't know what SSI is. You're being probed. The government's probing you. They got their SSI probe. Social Security insurance? I don't know what that means. That's my best guess. And it was, speaking of the government watching people who were on assistance, there was some lady who I saw, someone was like doing a commentary on it. There's some lady who was complaining that the government was making her sell her new Cadillac. And because she was on food stamps and bought this car, it's her dream car, she bought it, and the government was making her sell it because otherwise they were gonna stop giving her food stamps. And she was complaining about how she was being persecuted because the government wants her to sell her nice car, or she's not going to get food stamps to feed her kids because the government doesn't want her to be able to feed her kids and have her dream car. And it's ridiculous. Get your priorities in line, lady. All right, we have more videos. We've got more videos to watch. While I'm sitting here zoning out and just sweating. It is so hot in here. It's so hot. It's so hot, chat. Yeah. I'm gonna go turn on the air conditioning. I'm dying. It's like 85 degrees in here or something. I was half joking when I said it was 85 degrees. But that turned out to not be a joke. No wonder I'm dying. I'm sitting here in jeans and 85-degree inside weather. Gross. All right, chat. We've got a couple videos. A couple videos we can watch. I'm gonna let you guys choose. I'm gonna let you guys choose which one we watch next. Do we like gun bunnies? It depends on what your definition of a gun bunny is. Or if specifically you mean, do we like Gun Bunny, the YouTuber? If you're talking about gun bunnies as in like an attractive woman who is used for sex appeal holding a gun, but they have literally no idea what they're doing, no, hard pass. Don't like that. But if it's an attractive woman who knows what they're doing with guns, who as a bonus has some sex appeal, that's pretty good. Or if you're talking about specifically the channel Gun Bunny, well, we have these 3 videos queued up. I don't know if we're gonna watch all of them tonight, because that's like over an hour worth of videos, and it gets longer when I'm watching them because I pause them all the time to insert my nonsense in there. All right, chat. So which video are we watching? We've got the MCX Spear from Admin. Force Reset Triggers from Garantham. Or pistol shooting hacks with Gun Bunny. Who are we doing? What video, chat? Which one? It's up to you. I haven't watched Bunny's latest. I think she's had a few videos since we've watched her last. I think the last one we watched was her, like, Old West gun law breakdown. Episode 1. I think she's had a few since then. Like, part 3 of 3. Oh, that's the last one we watched right there. Hi. Fixing my terrible pistol shooting with one trick. Life hacks. Life hacks with attractive women holding guns. Let's go.
Hi, and welcome to my channel. I'm Bunny, or Gun Bunny, and this channel is my journey through guns and cosplay.
Guns and cosplay, chat.
If you've been
Winning
watching my
combo.
channel, you probably noticed that I struggle, and I've talked about this, I struggle to shoot pistols. Or unstocked pistols, if that makes sense, because I do use stocked pistols to help with that issue. This has been an issue since I first started
stocked
shooting,
pistol,
and
SBR?
I've mainly put it up to EDS, which causes my joints to be weird and causes me to be in
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Inherited disorders affect connective tissue, primarily skin. Your skin is a connective tissue, joints, and blood vessel walls. Provide strength and elasticity. Well, that didn't help much. That is not what I thought. When I saw EDS, I thought that was something having to do with a particular man appendage. Not necessarily working as it should.
In a lot of pain, as well as having trouble building up strength in those joints, as I'm at high risk for injury and also ease of strain. But it also means that the elasticity in my joints isn't really there, causing a lot
Drink
of
more
issues
milk.
when it comes
Get strong
to
bones, chat.
different types of sports.
That probably doesn't help
including
with that.
shooting pistol. Now, this all is still true, but I learned something really interesting recently, and it changed everything. Sadly, I didn't document this in real time, so I'll retell it and try to show you what happened, maybe through some
Story
little
time.
bit of reenacting, to show you how in one day I went from this.
Ooh, Steyr pistol. What sight is that? The Steyr pistol doesn't have an optics mount. What is that?
All of your mistakes are left. Like low, high, but all of your misses are to the left, and your hits
Malfunction.
are on. So you might.
Should I just start aiming slightly right?
I mean, you should favor the right edge of the target.
Good old Kentucky windage it.
Yeah. And then keep going. You can do a whole mic. Well, all 10 that are in that one. Rack the slide. There we go. There, it's empty.
To this.
All right, now we have Weaver. Still missing left a little bit.
Just changing to a Weaver stance instead of the squared shoulders, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, the feeding is definitely an issue.
I have never had any feeding issues with my Steyr pistol. I think adding that huge weight on top could be contributing to that. Stocked pistol is real term, more accurate than the legal definition of SBR. Yeah, but legally, a stocked pistol is an SBR. Unless it's, one of the exceptions. Like a historical exceptions. There's a specific word for that has escaped me. Sounded like you lost a live round.
But the marksmanship has substantially improved.
So, how did this mysterious transformation happen? And what did I do to improve my pistol shooting so much in one day? I'll tell you, and honestly, I'm a bit amazed at how simple the answer was. But first, let me bring you back a little bit to set the scene. Over a year now, I've been trained by my amazing mentor, who is not only very qualified himself in terms of his ability to shoot, but has been working as a pistol and rifle instructor for years. And I know that some people make comments about this, being like, "Oh, why is he yelling?" It's not angry. I promise you, this is just how we.
He's an instructor.
He's shouting because it's loud, and I have my ear pro in, and he doesn't. Maybe he sounds angry to you, but like he's just stoic, whatever. Anyway. He's my best friend. Leave me alone. So one of the things I noticed a lot of people complaining like, "Oh, your mentor doesn't drill you enough," or whatever. This is not for lack of trying by my mentor, by the way. Any failing you see, I just want to vindicate my mentor a little bit, and if it were up to my mentor, I would be doing drills constantly. I would be doing all of the dry fire. I would be working out all of the time. I would be the
I'm feeling a little called out here, chat. I need to dry fire and work out more. Curios and relics. I don't think I don't think that's exactly what I'm thinking of. There's some like exception to the SBR rule for like the really old stuff. Like if you've got a bore chart with the stock, like you're not gonna have to SBR it because it's like historically significant. I'd have to go look up exactly what the term is for it. Hit gym. I was gonna say I have a home gym. I have weights. It's not a gym at home. If I had to go to the gym to work out, I would literally never work out. That's awful. I hate going to the gym. I just need to actually work out more with the stuff I literally have here.
The most like well-trained, shooter in the world. This is what he wants, and this is what he pushes me to do. But I struggle because I have my EDS and my own stuff, and I'm just like, my ADHD.
Sheep noises.
I struggle to actually do stuff. And so if you're ever like, why is this lacking? Or I think her mentor's lacking. No, it's me fighting my mentor. Not like actually fighting, but like it's me pushing back, and there's other external things.
Brett, confirmed.
Back from my rant. I learned all of the fundamentals and applied them, and with a stock of my pistol, I shoot well. I would say I can, when I'm actually applying the fundamentals and I'm paying attention and I'm not just fucking around and being like, I get frustrated, mag dump. Like when I'm actually paying attention.
Mag dump into trash.
Because everyone has those days where they're just like, hey, soul sister. Whatever.
Hey there, Mr. on the radio.
With the Glock and stock, or 8 out of 10 shots, let's say. But as soon as you remove the stock, I struggle bus. I struggle bus hard. It's frustrating doing everything right or trying and still struggling so much, and you know all of the things that you're supposed to do correctly in your head. And it's different from when you know the things and you're just like, crap, I didn't do this, or I forgot, or whatever. Like, you're legitimately doing all of the things correctly, and you're still struggling so much. I would try fire or work out, and then my joints would hurt, and after a few shots, my hands would shake too much to hold the pistol still, and I would miss. That's pretty much the cycle that's been going on for over a year now. My working out ability has been impeded by my joints slowly, and also my lack of motivation to do it, but I'm trying to really get back on that.
Lack of motivation, real.
We have found that besides
True and
stock,
real.
a lighter pistol helps, but still helps, a little bit, but it doesn't make it that I'm hitting. It just makes it that I am able to shoot for longer and miss maybe like closer to the target. And all of this struggling was really compounding until one day I was scrolling through the In-Range TV
Flashback
Discord server when I noticed someone saying something about shooting with EDS. Now this user has given me permission to say their username, so Mad Mike mentioned they had EDS and shooting with the Weaver stance was helpful to shooting. Now, I didn't know what this meant, so I went to ask my mentor, and he explained that this was an older shooting stance and that most people, including me and him and, everybody, used a shooting stance called isosceles, and Weaver had become sort of obsolete in modern shooting. I will likely...
Has Weaver become obsolete? I definitely shoot Weaver. That's how I learned. My old man chat. Am I an old man using the boomer technique? Probably. I'm not old though. You lift ammo can and 5-gallon buckets full of rice, among other labor. I don't. I don't have any 5-gallon buckets of rice. What do you think I am, a prepper? I'm not. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm not a prepper.
Make an entire video. I will likely make another video or two on this topic. One on the two stances, Weaver versus isosceles, more in depth, and maybe the history of them, and then probably one about why EDS specifically and Weaver go well together. And like why it helps on almost a biological level, whereas this is more about the story of how I figured this out. I'm interrupting the video to tell you really fast about my Patreon. Now, if you don't know, my channel is not monetized through YouTube, and I don't do sponsorships. So this means that my
Is it
only means
not?
of support for my channel is actually through my Patreon. There are multiple different levels with different types
There
of
must be a
extra
personal
content
choice not
and
to
perks that you
monetize
can
YouTube,
get,
right?
all starting at just $5. I would personally really appreciate if you joined it. I have tried
it
to build
seems
a
like-
lovely community there, and I would love to see you there. If you
It seems
are
like
not
she
fan
has
of
the
monthly
requirements down for it.
subscriptions or just don't really want to do Patreon, that's totally fine. You can always support my channel by liking my videos, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Other ways you can support my channel, of course, is through my P.O. box. I have a tactical gear wish list, as well as always being open to messages. I think I have an Amazon wish list somewhere too. If you want to get me something off of that, this shirt was off of that, which is lovely.
Chat, you gonna slide into her DMs through her Amazon wish list?
I'm also always open to messages. If it's like, hey, I want to get you something for cosplay. There's some cosplay makeup I've been wanting, or there's tons of stuff. You're always welcome to message me. I have tons of social media, which will be on screen now. So thank you. And please enjoy the rest of the video. Curiosity overtook me. So my mentor showed me the stance and I tried dry firing with it. And immediately this stance felt more comfortable, more stable, and easier to shoot in than my previous attempts. My arms weren't shaking as much and my joints just didn't hurt as much, and I felt more stable. We even did recoil tests where he would push back on the slide, simulating recoil, and I was able to hold my stance stronger than I was while doing isosceles. So that's just interesting, and dry fire is extremely helpful, but I wanted to test this out, shooting at actual targets.
The
to get some more
biomechanical
feedback.
advantage there.
And also, the fun ping-ping noise of hitting metal is just too satisfying for my brain to ignore.
I'm a big fan of these little gauntlet things. Big fan of those.
And thankfully, I was going to the range
I like those.
soon.
Very
so
cool.
I grabbed my Steyr and took it to the range and tested it out. I took my first few shots like normal in isosceles.
So high, but all of your misses are to the left.
Then I shifted to Weaver. I took a deep breath
Weaver.
and ping, ping, ping. 3 hits in a row, emptying the mag. I made most of the shots. And just like that, over a year of frustration, I was vindicated. Very excited, my mentor was proud, and had me try again on a smaller target at the same distance. And I made 2 out of...
Quick question. Is a lever action bottom loading shotgun a real thing? Yes. There's some Turkish company that makes one. They make a couple of them. They make both a standard like mag tube and a detachable mag version. Like the Terminator gun. I mean, the Terminator gun is just an 1887. There's a few people making reproductions of those.
Out of 3 hits. Then again, 3 in a row. One small change in my stance, and I was able to make hits unlike before, where I had basically been lucky if I made any hits. I was making the majority of my hits. You have no idea how excited I was. I almost cried from relief and vindication. Feeling like I was doing something wrong for like all of this time. Feeling like I had learned all of it, but there was something I was missing. And finally just finding this tiny change that changed.
What are we watching? We're watching Gun Bunny here talk about her new shooting stance. Weaver. Her new Weaver shooting stance. And how it is so much better. Which I agree that it's better just in general. Whether you have EDS or not.
That like, you know, vindicated, like, yes, I do know this thing. I don't feel silly or stupid anymore. I actually do know it, is such a relieving
Hot
feeling,
Brass will be
especially
loving that
because
talk.
like,
You may notice she's not currently in a range. She had some range footage earlier. And she is not wearing the same outfit. Because yes, this outfit probably would not be ideal for range.
because you're like, why is this so hard for me? I feel like I know this, and it can really take a hit to your confidence and your motivation. But now feeling like all that work I put in, and that gut feeling of I know I'm doing something right was correct, and all it took was a slight change, was drastic. This is huge for me. I will still use stocked pistols as I love them, and all weird guns, and they hold a special place in my
stocks
heart. And some days are worse, even with Weaver,
way better.
and a stocked pistol is helpful. Like for
even myself, don't get me wrong, I'm not about to claim I'm a master at pistol shooting, but I'm pretty half decent. I'm a half decent pistol shooter. But if you give me a little SBR guy so I can have the extra points of contact that a stock gives, so much better. So much better.
For example, I've used walking aids on days where my joints, my hips, and my knees or my ankles are really bad, where I have other days where I can fucking walk 10 miles. But having the ability to, on good days, which if I continue to be on top of my working out and my health and stuff, should be the majority of my days when I'm better, Weaver is helpful. It is also helpful for shooting when I'm not able to use a stock. I am incredibly happy to have found this, and I'm really happy that I'm able to share it with you guys.
I like
and
how
look out for those 2 more videos
I like how
coming out
happy
on
she
Weaver.
is.
This is a topic that I just found really interesting, and I would love to explore more. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe for more. Bye!
There you go. Let me share this with you guys. There you go. Very neat. Do Weaver stance chat. It's better. Just, like, objectively. Here, let's see. See if we can find that Turkish lever shotgun real quick. There we go. That was it. That was fast. Is this in America, though? Nope, that's Canada. That's Canada. I don't want 410. There's a lot of 410 ones out there. Who makes it? Is it Black Aces? Is it Black Aces that makes it? Yeah, it is. First try. There we go. Lever action. Standard bottom loading. All the pictures are terrible. There we go. Lever action, but with the standard loading mag tube, like a modern shotgun, in case you don't want the super vibe of the 1887. I will admit the 1887, a little bit inconvenient to load. There you go. There's lever action. Tube there. I got a bunch of them. I got a bunch of different ones. Watch along No Country for Old Men. I don't know that movie. I don't know that movie. Yeah, I still don't recognize it. I looked it up and I still don't recognize it. I recognize this one actor. I don't know from where though. Banger movie. Has a lot of good pieces. It looks very old westerly. They got horses in there. Is this... There's a movie clip that I've seen where some guy, like, asks if he can buy tent poles. Is that this one? Is that this one? The guy asks if he can buy tent poles. Yeah, that is this one. I've seen that scene. I've seen that scene from this movie. I don't know what it leads into. The coin flip scene is good. I don't know what the coin flip scene is. A lot of good pieces I'd love. Maybe. Maybe. They use OG. No sci-fi. I like... guns that are well integrated into a sci-fi setting. Like, if you can take a real gun and make it work in a sci-fi setting, huge. This one, real. The exact 12 gauge we're talking about in stream right now. They use the Black Aces Tactical Turkish 12 gauge. I would imagine that if they're using a lever shotgun, they're using the 1887. Because that's the more go-to one for sure. Oh my god, this website just pulled up 4 pop-ups. I just want to look at your guns. So the 1887 is going to be your... I don't like the stock on this one. It's going to be your more classic lever action shotgun. All the aces looked modern. Yeah, they were. Anyway, this one, that's the one I have. The wood looks super cheap in this picture. I mean, it's not expensive, fancy wood, but it looks better than that. The last one we looked at was the Taylor & Co. one, which definitely is higher quality than the Cimarron one. I have the Cimarron. The Cimarron, they have marketed it as a few things. Currently, they're marketing it as the 1887 Riot. They used to call it the 1887 Terminator. Luckily, it, as far as I can tell, has never actually said Terminator on the shotgun, because that would be very cringe. That's the They're currently calling it the 1887 Riot. And Chiappa makes them as well. I really want the Chiappa oh my goodness, gotta get through freaking 3 pop-ups just to look at the website. This one. The Chiappa 1887 Mare's Leg. That'd be cool. Like in a leather scabbard. Worn on your belt. It'd be beautiful. Look at that thing. Look at that nice case harden. I've had a couple shipped in. The Cimarron. Yeah, the Cimarron is definitely the most budget friendly of the 1887 offerings. There is... I have seen... Where is it? This one. This one right here. Okay, chat. So I've said this before. This gun right here. No, I don't want to... I just want to see the thing. In this. In this belt holster. Not a shockwave, that's cringe. This gun, though, in this holster, would be just peak, like, werewolf hunting attire. The leather looks kind of cheap, though. It is $129. I don't know if it's just that it looks cheap in the picture, which is entirely a possibility. Usually, leather things cost more, especially when they're large. I think that'd be pretty cool, though. The problem is that that whole setup would be like $2,000. And then once you have that, you would obviously need like a duster and the whole outfit to go with it. Back then, the Old West, all leather was cheap. Yeah, but it's not back then in the Old West anymore. Now leather's expensive.
Deploying reinforcements. Comrade Nico just followed.
Comrade Neko. And welcome. Thank you for the follow. How's it going? If you like guns and VTubers, well, this is probably the right place for you. All right, chat. We've got... Goodness sakes. every gun tuber and their mother has made a Kuna review. Oh my goodness. All right, we've got more video. We got more video to watch, chat. We're going all in on the React Andy today. Probably only going to watch one more video because I have to wake up earlier than I want to tomorrow because I have to go. I got to drive somewhere. Which is also why there won't be stream on Saturday. Because I will be at a convention. Until then, though, that's not Garanthem. But we got Garanthem FRT video. Convention in Texas. There's a lot of conventions in Texas. Texas is a pretty good spot for going to conventions. Not as good as like California, but Texas is better than California in like every other way. So I think it's okay. We can give California conventions. Gun conventions? Nope. It's a weeaboo convention. I'm sorry to disappoint you, chat. I'm going to a weeaboo convention.
Hey! No full auto in the buildings. It's not full auto. Oh, dang. Okay, my bad.
Will there be gun? Probably not. Anime conventions usually have pretty strict weapon policies. Although I haven't looked at the policies for this one. If there would be any weapons there, they would be concealed. Cosplay airsoft folk? Yeah. Usually with like an anime convention and the cosplay and all that, if you're gonna have weapons, they need to be like obviously not real. So, you know, like the horrible like big orange tips and whatnot. Because obviously, like, you couldn't just put an orange flash hider on a gun and just say it wasn't real anymore. That'd be crazy. Yeah, no real guns. What if you cosplay as a character from Gate and you gotta use a fake gun? You're not saying that you should or that you did, but the Fort Worth Convention Center does not have metal detectors. And there were no wands when you went. I mean, that just sounds like you can carry there. Oh!
Hates us.
Third position, chat. That's an ugly rifle. What on earth? Got this super cool retro looking rifle going all the way, and you hit the stock and you're like, oh, this stock is really bringing me out of the moment right here. Where oh, Sometimes mixing the retro and the modern works well. This is not one of those sometimes. He mentions why he did it. I hope so. Because it's awful looking. Oh my, holy. Look how far his finger is into the trigger. Oh my goodness. He's pulling that with his, like the first knuckle. The second knuckle? I don't know which knuckle you start counting at. Oh my goodness. Is he just trying a bunch of uppers with it? Probably. That's probably what's happening.
You know, AR-15s are super cool, isn't that right, John?
Yeah, especially 416s.
So right here, we have our typical AR-15. We have our factory lower that came with a factory FRT-15. Now, the coolest thing about the FRT is we do have a completely legal,
Happy 417
semi-automatic trigger.
Did they release this on 416? Nope.
But gosh dang, does it not feel semi-auto at times? There's a lot of capabilities that are unlocked. There's a lot of little quirks about it. But today, we're gonna delve into the Forced Reset Trigger 15 and talk about it and about how wonderful it is. Stay tuned for the Forced Reset Trigger.
Yo, John, is that a 416? Yeah, it is. It's also an autism t-shirt. You get one free whenever you buy.
Oh, cool, 416. That must be a 416 lower as well, right?
We're gonna act like it is.
Ooh, wait, those lines don't look right.
We're gonna act like it is.
Oh,
okay?
gross. For every like, we add another Lego to John's Lego collection, so make sure you hit a like. We, of course, can't
it's a lot of Legos.
Thanking our sponsors. They make these videos free
47,000 Legos.
We, of course, have Primary Arms if you're looking to get optics or whatever. Just a big thank you to them. We love them. Hit them with a I love Skittles because it's Autism April.
Yeah, I would know.
You don't know? It could happen. And if you want to be more American, if you want to be the best American possible, if you want to be more American than apple pie and winning world wars, well, we have Henry Repeating Arms. The fact of the matter is there's nothing more American than a lever action rifle, and gosh dang it, they have
nothing more American and nothing more boomer than a Henry.
And of course, if you want to give them all the love, go check out henrythumb.com. Can't say anything about it. And if you're looking to get better at shooting, we recommend Dry Fire. Man, this will turn your weapon into a dry fire machine. Go and check them out. And of course, all ammunition sponsored by AAC. With all that being said, talk is cheap and ammunition is, the price is quickly stacking up because these mags go fast. So we have the FRT 15 right here in this lower. Then we have our traditional trigger.
Henry definitely boomer vibes for sure.
John's gonna explain it.
So normal trigger on basically every semi-automatic rifle ever. Clear. All right. So you break the shot and the weapon cycles as normal. And then you have some spring forward pressure as well. That helps you reset the trigger, right? Well, the thing about a forced reset trigger is it uses the energy of the bolt carrier group going home to force the trigger forward. So it's not fully automatic. You are pulling the trigger every single time that the weapon goes off.
It is semi-automatic.
It is semi-automatic.
By ATF definition, which is one trigger pull, multiple rounds. That is not true. This is a single trigger pull.
It's not. The ATF definition doesn't say a trigger pull. If the ATF definition said one trigger pull, then that would probably be illegal. It is a single function of the trigger. If it's a single trigger pull, that's how they tried to get rid of bump stocks. That's not what it says.
Per trigger, there's a single trigger pull per bullet that leaves the barrel. So while it might
single
not
function
seem
of the trigger,
semi-auto, 100%. So John's going to show you semi-auto on the 416 A5.
Normal, guys, the trigger. Great trigger, just not forced reset.
Okay, this also has a semi-auto trigger. So, and if I go to that third position, it is force reset. Pretty interesting. This works
pretty speedy
on any factory upper or factory lower that you have. So definitely go and give it a little look. But let's talk more and show more of the capabilities of this particular weapon. So we're going to demonstrate some drills right here. So we're going to show 6 rounds with just a basic semi-auto and force reset right here. So with semi-auto and then force reset. Obviously a little bit faster on the force reset because there's less
thumb triggers.
Now it is
thumb triggers were very interesting for a little bit. I don't think thumb triggers are very practical for like almost anything. I think thumb triggers are cool because they're different. Someone was trying something new. It didn't work. Could we get a force reset thumb trigger?
Does not feel like an auto trigger. There's a couple little caveats that come along with it. With an auto trigger, you're obviously just pinning the trigger to the rear and that gun's just going. With this, you do feel your trigger jumping back and forth, which we'll show you in this video right here. So it is...
Yeah, a force reset trigger is just trigger slap premium. That's all force reset trigger is. Just, you got trigger slap, which you still have to, you know, usually just release the trigger a little past the trigger slap. Actually, speaking of trigger slap, this thing right here, oh my goodness, holy trigger slap. Actually, can we, since it's here, can we demonstrate a little trigger slap? We are empty. So, oh, also we're safe. Flip that around. So it goes click. And this is going to be really awkward at this angle for me to do. But we pull that back. I don't know if you could see, I might have been moving it too much. Let's try that again. So, you can see it kind of pushes my finger forward there. But it doesn't push it forward quite far enough to get the reset. So basically what a force reset trigger does, because I have one of those as well. So a force reset trigger, this is also empty. So force reset trigger, pull it, goes click. This one resets it as the action is going back, as opposed to that one's resetting it on the forward motion. So it pushes the trigger all the way forward to completely reset. So then you can just pull it again. So you got trigger slap premium.
It's kind of an odd sensation the first couple times you're firing it. John, will you go ahead and try this out? Nothing like having people try it. It's a nice tan EMAG.
Yeah. So another thing about force resets in general is pretty much all of them across the board, if you pin them to the rear really hard, it will lock the gun up. I'll try to demonstrate that now.
That one let it go. It depends on the gassing of the rifle. So
if you just pin it to the back, it just won't work. Worked flawlessly.
If you have a rifle,
if you do have a super like short trigger travel, it's much harder to just pin it to the rear and make it malfunction. If you have a longer forced reset, that does get way easier to do.
That's gassed really hard, or if the magazine is more full or there's more spring pressure from those rounds that's also slowing down the carrier, you can get the gun choking up, and that's something you're going to have to learn about your particular upper. Some uppers just have more gas, some uppers have less gas. Suppressor is going to increase the gas, no suppressor, less gas. So again, you're just going to find out. John will pin it to the rear. You kind of hear the firing rate change. Go ahead and show them right here.
You just want a normal, yeah, no first.
Pin it to the rear. Okay, couple things to note there. So if you notice at the beginning, it was kind of chugging a little bit. This is typical of even guns that are actually auto. The reason that begins to speed up towards the end of the mag is as that spring pressure loosens on those, there's less pressure on the bolt carrier, which allows it to run faster. This is especially true of the FRT, which is also somewhat dependent on the amount of trigger pressure that you put behind the gun. But again, with a well-gassed
definitely
weapon,
way more
we haven't really
dependent on
seen
that.
that many problems with hitting that trigger pretty hard. It's just something you should be aware of. So, with all those things being said, let's go ahead, let's do a couple drills, and then we'll show you some different uppers. Now, we do have to give a big thank you to Delta Team Tactical for the FRT-15.
Again.
We can't really say much more than that other than to say that they are mega based. Sent it to us. They have awesome proclivities, and we love them very much. So go say that you love them and that you love their logo. And more importantly, tell them your favorite pizza toppings.
Chat,
Now,
what's your
this
favorite pizza
particular one
topping?
is on our Mark 18.
If it's
Mod
pineapple, you're
1
fired.
Upper. So this is a military upper right here. So it's gassed pretty well. We have a BNT Printex suppressor on the end right here. So it's gassed well. It's gassed a little bit, what you'd say combat gassy, which is slightly overgassed, which really helps with the functionality of the FRT-15. Our like typical M16 uppers that we have, especially like the A4s, a lot.
Did you just say pepperoni and pineapple? Banned. Banned. That's heinous. Do you like L-cans here? Yes. But I don't have the money for one.
A lot of the FN models or military models have a little bit of trouble just due to kind of how lightly those are gassed or certain competition uppers. So I'm going to do it semi, then FRT, both from safety, which means it's going to be a little bit of suckiness. Okay, yeah, hit me.
Stand by.
Yeah.
129.
Look at that. Look at that. It's almost like I shoot a little bit. Nuh-uh. Okay, now we're going to do FRT. The problem with FRT is going to be that I have to do the full 180 rotation, which it might even slow me down a little bit. That was 129 on that one?
129. Stand by.
Yeah.
147, yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit slower and a little bit sloppier just because I felt a little rushed
FRT?
because of that slowness
Worse.
of clicking into that safety. Once the gun's in that position, then it's quick. So we'll start from in the FRT position. Okay, ready?
Stand by.
Yep.
076.
Cool. So
Do build
much
drill.
faster once I'm
Do
there.
build
It's
drill.
just That problem with the AR-15 system has always been that 180-degree throw just kind of sucks. There's nothing you can really do about that. But we've shown you with this particular one. Let's go ahead, let's throw a new upper on. Let's try some different stuff. Right here we have our military M16 upper and Marines in Fallujah, right, John?
Yeah, something Marine.
So at semi-auto, you can see it's starting to have some kind of problems. So when we go over to FRT, yeah, it's not having that good of a time. It's almost like it's in the burst mechanism right now, right? Yeah, just doesn't like it. So depending on your gun, you'll kind of have to mess with things. Also, a big thing is going to be buffers. We're running the Volter system in here. You might be better served running like a typical carbine, whether H2 or H3 seems to work pretty good for most people who are running an FRT. But with a lighter buffer from Volter, it's going to run pretty well as well. So we've been showing you a lot of really expensive uppers. So here's an Arrow upper. It cost me about
that's why it's ugly.
350 bucks. And let's see how it performs if it does well with this particular blower. It's perfect. We're also running a torture test on this, so this is actually perfect for it. But as you can see, you don't need a super expensive upper for this to work. It's going to work with pretty much everything so long as you're doing your part in making sure that it's tuned. Now, we've clearly shown you how it works, what it can do. Let's talk about the different roles that this can fill within a civilian type application.
So
I think it's important to note that the most important role that an FRT serves is for mag dumping into trash for the vast majority of civilians. That is what most people who own an FRT are going to be doing. Mag dumping into trash. And that is perfectly valid.
one thing we've noticed is with FRTs, it really likes the guns that are gassed a little bit harder. Like the M16, it's really easy to lock up. The Mark 18 and the Arrow, they're gassed decently hard. especially if they got cans on them, and they run really, really well. The URGI is, I would say, it's on the lighter end of being gas.
I'm convinced my wife is putting glue on my weapons for some reason. She denies it. I'm sticking to my guns.
Gassed, especially with a flow-through can. This one was, I wouldn't say sluggish, but very, very, very smooth, especially compared to like that or the 416.
100%. To show you the versatility of this system, we're at 750 yards, but of course 5.56 isn't effective, right, John?
No, not at all, not past 10 feet.
But if you need to use this in a certain role in what we call an infantry automatic rifle, there's a lot of...
You better put that in FRT mode at 750 yards. If they don't do that, I'm going to be disappointed.
Things that John wants to talk about. John has a lot of experience about this because John was a ranger.
So belt feds, like automatic rifles, they've been like a staple of the infantry squad for several decades. The Marine Corps, not too long ago, they adopted the infantry automatic rifle concept, which is basically a beefed up M4, or in their case, a beefed up 416. There's the M27. The whole idea is just a little bit more beefier infantry rifle that can accurately engage out to distance, but it also is specifically designed to handle a decent amount, not too much, but a decent amount of automatic fire. So they put it up against the SAW, and they were like, hey, it's more accurate. You can't put quite as many rounds down range, but it's the beaten zone is tighter. It's just more accurate overall and less cumbersome.
There's no better way to do it than to show it. So we're gonna go ahead and turn on our long range camera. John, why don't you give it a couple mags out in the distance there?
Oh, there we go. He is actually using super speedy semi-auto. I don't think it's hitting the gong very much, though. 750 yards is still pretty good.
It's so cool. It's such a good beaten zone.
Nice.
Dude, at 750 with a M4.
If you were down there, that'd be really scary. As a fire suppressive system, it's real good. Yeah, if you're just looking for suppressive fire, very good.
That's pretty good capability right there. So imagine also you have 2, 3, maybe even 4 guys all firing bursts down range. That beaten zone is awesome. So you're gonna light that on fire.
Yeah. So
imagine you have 2, 3, maybe even 4 guys in your beaten zone. Imagine, chat. Can you post link? Yes, links are allowed. Links are allowed here until somebody ruins the fun for everybody.
The suppressor.
Nice. Half the job of an automatic rifle is really to be a noisemaker more than anything. Just to keep heads down, let people know I am shooting at you and you're gonna die. So this being way more accurate rather than just harassing fire at distance, it's a burst right on top of your position. That psychological effect's gonna be amplified.
Yeah, that's not a good time at all. So as you can see, in an IAR, I think the FRT is really, really good for that. There's also another thing that it's going to be really good for.
Another really, really nice use case for this FRT is react to near ambush. So near ambush, like they got you by the balls. You're maneuvering down a road, you're handrailing it. Whatever.
Man, you got 4 guys in your beaten zone, and now they got you by the balls? They have to be doing this on purpose, right? Right?
Whatever the case may be, and you start taking fire from very, very close, right off the right-hand side, left-hand side, whatever the case may be. So as like a counter ambush tool, it's pretty good. It's probably your best option.
You gotta lay down bullets.
Yeah, just known, likely, and suspected. Just start raking left and right at about knee level, and you'll probably get desired effect.
Decap them.
Yeah, or if they're crouched down,
prone,
yeah,
and headshot them. All right, let's show what that looks like. Contact left. Cool. Now, as far as breaking contact, I think MACV-SOG really had it down pretty well in Vietnam. I think it's a really
Just
good
mag dump.
point to talk about because it makes so much more sense in a civilian application.
So one of the things that MacBSOG did was they had the point man almost always have a full mag of tracers, not mixed, but completely full, all tracers. It's to give the appearance that whatever enemy they run into, they now think they're facing a much larger force because it's just a beehive of tracers coming through this jungle. So that is a method to give the appearance that you got way more friends than you actually do.
I just think the FRT-15 adds a lot of capability that isn't otherwise had. Like, you know, there are limited applications in, you know, the fully fun mode, especially with price and everything that you see as a civilian. But this really opens up a lot of different applications that I think are really cool to be able to talk about. So, as you can see, a lot of different use cases already. Let's try in a couple different uppers. We'll kind of give you guys our closing thoughts here.
One other thing, especially if you're dumping a lot of rounds on this. So the 240 Bravo, the 249 saw, like they fire from the open bolt. There's a good reason for that. It allows.
Has there been anyone who has made an FRT for the M249S? I feel like there's a market there. And a market, not a big market, but a market of people with a lot of money.
Bunch of airflow into the gun, and it's to keep it cool. These are obviously closed bolt weapon systems, so there's going to be a round in the chamber, in that really hot chamber after you fired several magazines. So a method that I thought of just to keep the gun cool is, say you fired a couple mags, contacts down, you're not immediately in contact, you're gonna have to sacrifice a round, but while you're just sitting there waiting with no real job, just lock the bolt to the rear and just let the gun breathe. And then I'd say keep your thumb on the bolt release, and then if you see contact, and then you're ready to go. So
I was hoping you're gonna shoot.
No, scared of guns.
And John brings up a good point. With utilizing this as an automatic rifle, you do approach the temperature of what's called the cook-off. So that's when the internal temperature of the chamber is hot enough to get the powder within the bullet itself hot enough to where it actually combusts and cooks off and actually fires on its own. You don't see this too much on, you know, your typical rifles, simply because they're not usually used as a support weapon. But John brings up a really good point. You've been firing a lot of mags back to back. You probably don't want to keep a round in the chamber at that point due to the amount of heat. You are going to get a cook-off. On a saw, on a 240, I've seen cook-offs all the time.
Yeah, give it like 5 or 6 mags and then leave it around in the chamber. It's probably gonna go off.
Good times. All right, let's keep it going. That never gets old. So right here we have a M16A1 vintage Vietnam upper because, well, it's just a lot of fun. I feel like if anything deserves to be fired very fast semi-auto, be one of these. It's like Vietnam 101. All right, let's see how this little baby runs. Pretty good, not bad at all.
I hate the stock on that.
Give me the max. This does look like sacrilege, though.
It is. It is sacrilege.
The grip is right. Everything else is wrong.
You just kind of block out the bottom half and back. It looks okay.
You know what's crazy about it to me is that like it's very controllable. There's no. It's weird on the trigger the way it kind of resets, but like it doesn't really take too much to get used to.
You definitely feel the trigger more with a gun like that.
You definitely do. That's the Vietnam style right there.
What do you mean you definitely? Of course you feel that trigger more. It is being force reset into where your finger is very fast.
Brett, the point is we're just showing you guys that this does work on a variety of factory uppers with your factory lowers that you have.
You know, probably what force reset triggers feel like. I haven't tested this, so I don't know if this is true, but it seems like it could be. If you get one of those like massage guns, like a Theremin gun or something, and you like press your finger onto the end of it, and then you turn it on. That's what a force reset trigger feels like.
With factory FRT-15s in them.
All right, so here we have the God tier BCM 11.5.
It really is God tier.
Yeah, probably the best like min-maxing, especially for a civilian upper.
Did you call it min-maxing?
Yeah, min-maxing.
It's a meta. I should really stop hiring Zoom. Yeah. are great. That's so cool. The BTM really is a great value. It's sick. Come here, Sawyer. Come try it.
All right.
Let's see if the camera guy can get. He's also left-handed, which is really unfortunate.
You know, for the record, I've never shot with this trigger before, so we'll see what happens.
He's gonna be eating a lot of gas.
Oh wow, it works.
And also
Really
putting
easy,
all the rounds over the berm.
And for, you know, kind of some of the odder firearms out there, your factory firearms, they come with factory FRT 15s. Well, it works with...
Thankfully, FRTs don't obliterate your finger/joint. That definitely depends on the FRT. If you've got a really, like, short pull trigger like this, probably not. My FRT, my G-spot in my Glock is a little less friendly on the finger. Although it is also like 1/10 of the price. So there's that as well.
A variety of different uppers right here. So right here we have a typical HK 416A5, so semi, and of course up, and of course, and of course reset. It is really cool. I love that because
pistol is way harder FRT.
There is a firing pin safety.
Yeah, I want to.
So the hammer has to be.
I want to see this guy do a pistol FRT. By this guy, I mean Garand Thumb. After you dump a pistol FRT, your finger feels like TV static. Or like the sound of a beehive. That's what your finger feels like.
Be tall enough to be able to lift that up. A lot of trigger groups won't do it, as John realized the hard way. So it's cool that it is able to, one, actuate that, and due to the universal design of it, the fact that some AR-15 triggers work on so many different firearms, well, it works with a whole variety of different systems. Not much we can say about that, other than to say, neato.
Did an IPSC close? They were close. Now they're in the forever box.
I felt like I had a joke there, and it, God, took it from my mouth. So we're not going to do a huge autistic breakdown because really over on the range stuff has pretty well covered it at this point. So what you have here is you have a really cool capability that is completely legal, that is civilian accessible with, you know, nothing crazy, no crazy hoops to drive through, to hop through, excuse me.
Driving through
tax
hoops.
stamp or anything like that. Oh, hello, autism man. And
sorry, ruining your flow.
The point is, I think it's a very cool and very applicable thing to use in a civilian setting. Like we talked about, I think some of the biggest points for usage here would definitely be for the infantry automatic rifle concept that John talked about, where it's used in a semi-support role, and then obviously in a breaking contacts type situation, extremely, extremely useful there.
Chat. That's what I was missing. Because in my everyday life, I'm having so many situations where I'm having to break contact. It's really that FRT capability really just is what I was needing in my life. It's not. I want an FRT so I can mag dump into trash. Which is valid. So it's a valid reason.
By and far, in my military days, almost all of my fire and shots were semi-automatic on a rifle. Very seldom was it really used, except in very certain scenarios, and that's something to speak to as well. You know, auto is not like a end-all, be-all if you have it, but it does have those capabilities that we talked about.
Yeah, so
talking stick.
This is the talking stick. Yeah. Really, in the military, the only time you use a full auto for like an
That's a pretty
M4
cool
is
talking
really,
stick.
The only thing I think of is clearing a bunker, maybe pushing down a trench, or react to a near ambush. That's really about it.
That's it.
You only have a certain amount of magazines. You don't want to burn them all, but there's always going to be a place for it. Yeah, this thing is 100% legal. You are pulling the trigger every single time. It's just, end of the day, it's just shooting a little bit faster. Like, it's legal and it should stay legal because who cares? It's just shooting a little bit fast. Should we ban Jerry Michulik? Should we ban him?
I mean, if we're being honest here, we shouldn't have bans on automatics either, right? The NFA is completely unconstitutional in nature and completely un-American in nature. It is where it is right now. We'll continue to fight it, but this opens up, in my mind, a lot of interesting things related to that could possibly help with the dismantling of a lot of the NFA regulations that we currently have, because they're all stupid and they make no sense. Point is, get out here.
FRT is pretty cool. Way more likely to lead to more overreach than to overturning of the NFA.
And get them. That's what I would definitely recommend. I understand they're a little bit more expensive because of what they are, and there is a premium there, but that's life.
Yeah, just the only thing is, do not look up Ruby Ridge. Don't do it.
Guys, point is, don't hit that trigger too hard. Tune your gun.
Look up Ruby Ridge for sure. Very important American history.
To work with it, it's somewhat imperfect system because of the way it works, but pretty dang good for what it is. Point is, guys, even if you're not using this for anything serious, even if serious isn't in your name, it's good to have because it is super fun. And when you do need it, it's going to be absolutely awesome. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We thought this was an interesting product for the civilian world, so we hope you guys enjoy this. And we really got nothing else for you at this point, except for a little bit of dad advice. And that dad advice is going to be with John Crane.
Yeah, pet your dog and take more pictures with your friends. That's a threat.
That is. John gives my
take
dog
pictures.
like a uncomfortable
Cringe.
amount of love.
I'm going to steal your dog.
Wait, no, I'm going to steal his dog.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I really want my dog.
Well, FRTs, isn't it? FRTs, I don't think for civilians, FRTs aren't necessarily useful for anything aside from hee fun. Which is, again, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having fun. Necessary to have a little fun sometimes, it's true. If you go and you look at the people who are having the least amount of fun, don't do that. All right, what is this clip? What is this clip that you shared earlier? I'm convinced my wife is putting glue on my weapons for some reason. She denies it. I'm sticking to my guns. You made me listen to that joke twice?
Yeah, especially with a flow-through can. This one was...
Oh my, would you do that to me? I can't believe this. Oh, what's with gun? Yes, I'm getting ready for the zombie apocalypse. Nah, just out here collecting, having fun. Also, there's only 3 guns on the table. That's not very many. No, I collect guns. I hoard them. I take care of them. Like a zoo, but for guns. And we talk about them. We've got all different kinds of guns. so we can chat, educate people about guns. I am no kind of prepper, be it zombie or any of the slightly more reasonable SHTF style preppers. I just think they're neat. A rescue for discarded guns. If you want to discard any guns, I will adopt them, give them a good home. We've got a few sitting around. The nice case hardened high power that we cleaned yesterday sitting right here. A few on the side. Quite a few on the side. Yes, everything on stream is done safely. So we are in a safe, controlled environment. I guess I'm a professional firearms handler. So we don't even have any live ammo. Not even any live ammo. All the guns shown on stream are empty. So we can just hang out with them. Why am I yawning? It's because I'm tired. That was an easy question to answer. Alright, chat. I'm over here yawning. And I have to get up earlier tomorrow than I want to. So, I think it's unfortunately about that time of day. So we will be raiding out. Who do we raid? Let's raid. Oh, you know who we're gonna raid? I know who we're gonna raid today. Okay, my keyboard disconnected. All right, today we are going to raid Grimmy. Because Grimmy is going to be doing a meet and greet at the convention I'm going to. Grimmy is very cool. She mostly does kind of like spooky kind of gaming. Every now and then she'll talk about like prepper stuff, which is kind of cool. I don't know how. She's not a firearm streamer, so you guys are pretty good at being respectful of other people. So I don't have to tell you, don't force guns down everyone's throats. But very cool streamer, very cool streams. So I will see you all on Sunday after I return from convention. Until next time, we have raid messages. And until next time, I will see you later. I don't have a plan necessarily for next stream. I'll try to figure one out while I'm gone to convention. If I don't, we'll figure it out on stream. But thank you everyone for stopping by.